There are 8 different AI tools built into this one Higgsfield plugin, and they all run inside Premiere Pro. And these cover pretty much everything, from generating your own images and videos to cleaning up the footage you already have. In this video, I'll walk you through all of it and give you the exact prompts to copy so that you can run the same workflow for yourself. And the first thing is just getting the plugin into Premiere, which takes about 2 minutes. So you head over to this link to grab the Higgsfield plugin for Adobe, and how you install it depends on what operating system you use. There is a link in the description if you want to do it with me. On Mac, it's simple. You run the installer and it detects Premiere automatically. On Windows, it's a little more complicated. You first need a free tool called the ZXPUXP installer, which you grab from aescripts.com. Then you download the plugin file from Higgsfield and drag it onto that installer window. Either way, make sure Premiere is fully closed while it downloads, or the panel won't show up when you reopen it. And you'll want to be on Premiere 2024 or newer, otherwise it's just not going to run. Once it's done, you open Premiere, go to Window, then Extensions, and the whole Higgsfield panel is right there inside your editor. So let me show you the first one, and it's easily the tool I use the most. And it solves the most annoying problem in editing. Say I need a labeled diagram of the human heart to put up on screen. Normally that means one of two things: digging through Google for something that's low resolution, watermarked, or just not usable. I can build one manually in Canva and import it to my video, but it's way too much of a hassle. So instead, I open the panel, go to Generate AI Image, and pick GPT Image 2. The model choice actually matters here because most image generators still don't have proper spelling accuracy. So the moment you ask for labels and specific texts, you get gibberish. But GPT Image 2 is one of the few models that gets text right. Here, I will paste in the prompt describing exactly what I want. And one really important thing to get done is to set the aspect ratio and resolution to match your sequence before you generate, so it comes out the right size instead of needing a rescale. And since it's all happening in the timeline, if the first one doesn't feel right to me, I just tweak the prompt and run it again without breaking my editing sequence. So instead of settling for whatever Google had, I got the exact graphic I wanted, and it was built for my project. But that's just an image, and the next tool lets me have a customized B-roll that I wouldn't have found anywhere else. And what makes that B-roll actually look custom comes down to one important step that most people find hard. So say I'm putting together a travel vlog in New York, and I need a nice cinematic shot of the skyline. The thing is, stock footage never really matches the look of my own clips, and the exact shot I'm picturing usually doesn't exist anywhere, so I just generate it myself. Now here's where most people mess this up. They type in something lazy like drone shot of New York at sunset, hit generate, and then wonder why it looks so bad. And usually it's not the model that's the problem, it's the prompt. If you barely tell it anything, it just fills in the gaps on its own, and you end up with something average. What you actually want is to describe the shot properly, how the camera moves, the kind of light, and the way it's framed, so the model knows what you're going for. But honestly, I'd rather not, so I use this free tool called videoprompt.studio. I just give it the rough idea in plain English and select for Seedance, because that is the model I will be using. And because I'm generating a B-roll, I will select that option from this section down below. As you can see, there are a lot of other options you can generate for your needs. Also, you can choose the output you want in either JSON or plain English. Personally, I like using JSON because LLMs can read them more easily, but English works too. Anyway, we can see it generates the whole prompt out in proper detail for me, shaped around what works best for Seedance specifically. Then I drop that into the Higgsfield panel inside my video editor, switch the model to Seedance 2.0, set it to 10 seconds, and let it run.
Guys, look at this. New York City is absolutely incredible. I'm loving every second of it.
So now I've got the exact skyline shot I had in my head, and it actually fits my own footage, instead of some stock clip that never really did. The thing is, cutting straight from my own footage into this new shot just looks odd and unprofessional, so I need a clean way to get from one cut to another. And the fix is way simpler than you'd think. And the answer is actually pretty simple. You just let the AI create the transition between your two videos instead of jumping straight from one to the next. It all works because of the 2 frames you give it. I take the last frame of my first video and the first frame of the next one. Then I export them both straight out of Premiere using the little camera icon. I drop both of these frames into the Higgsfield panel, one as the start, one as the end. And that's really the whole secret, because now the AI isn't making up some random transition. It knows exactly where to start and exactly where it needs to end. So it just fills in the few seconds of movement in the middle. I keep it on Seedance 2.0, set it to 4 seconds, and paste in the prompt. And what you get back is a few seconds of smooth motion that flows straight out of one shot and into the next.
Guys, look at this. New York City is absolutely incredible. I'm loving every second of it.
The best part is, it works between any two videos, even ones that look nothing alike, which is something no normal Premiere transition can do. So now my walking shot and that skyline B-roll flow together like they were always one continuous shot. But this whole edit has been widescreen, so if I need this footage somewhere like Reels, the aspect ratio becomes an actual problem. And fixing the shape is way easier than it should be. You don't have to crop anything by hand. So say I shot this talking head video in 3x4 for LinkedIn, and now I want it vertical for a reel. The problem with switching it over is that my face ends up off to one side. So either I crop in and chop off half my head, or I sit there keyframing myself back into the middle of every single shot. It's such a pain that half the time I just don't bother posting it anywhere else. But with Reframe, I just tell it what aspect ratio I was using, then what aspect ratio I want, then with just one click, it reshapes the whole video for me.
The thing nobody talks about is that AI isn't replacing editors. It's just removing the boring parts. The creative decisions still need a human behind them.
And the same video I made for LinkedIn is now ready to go as a reel, with myself right in the middle the whole time. And once reframing is this painless, it changes how much you get out of a single shoot. You film one talking head video, and the same footage becomes a YouTube upload, a vertical reel, a TikTok, and a square post, without re-editing any of it. So one recording session turns into content for every platform at once, instead of being locked to the single ratio you happen to film in. So say, I shot a quick video of myself talking to a camera. The only thing still bugging me is that random guy standing in the background, and I'm not reshooting just to get rid of him. And pulling someone out of a moving video is normally really hard, but here, it's basically just drawing over them. I grab the draw to edit tool and brush over him, pretty roughly. I don't even need to be precise about it. I tell it to remove the person in the background, and a few seconds later, he's gone, with the wall behind him rebuilt like he was never there. And the clever part is that it does that across the whole moving shot, not just one frame, which is the thing that normally takes hours of rotoscoping. While I've still got that same video open, I can flip it around and cut myself out instead. I switch to remove background and tell it to keep me talking and remove everything else. And it gives me a clean cutout with no green screen and no rotoscoping at all. Which means I can drop myself straight onto that NYC skyline I showed you earlier, or honestly, any other background I want. The last one is upscale, and it's genuinely a lifesaver when you have low resolution videos. Anything that is too soft or low resolution, like some AI generated stuff, I can literally push it up to 4K, and it's not just stretching the video bigger, it actually rebuilds the real detail. So something soft in 720p ends up actually getting more detailed. It's also perfect right after a crop, because zooming into a shot drops your resolution, and this puts it right back. And the best part is every one of these tools is in that same plugin, so the whole video comes together without me ever leaving the timeline. And honestly, the 8 tools I showed you are only part of what's in there. There's a whole stack of other models inside Higgsfield I didn't even open today, all running right on your timeline. So go sign up to Higgsfield with my link in the description and try one on your own footage. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.